அஸ்ஸலாமு அலைக்கும். சாந்தி, ஷலோம், ஆனந்தமும் அமைதியும் உங்களோடு இருப்பதாக. My Ramadan greetings to all of you. The feast of Ramadan, the season of Ramadan, is emphasizing on prayer, fasting, and charity. Prayer is meant for reconciliation with the Creator God. Fasting is meant for reconciliation with oneself, with the spirit of conversion. And the charity is reconciliation for others, including the cosmic realities. So with this spirit of Ramadan, we need to come together for building a new society of compassionate joy and resilient justice amidst the debris of destruction. Where there is hatred, let me bring your love. Where there is injury, your pardon, Lord. Where there is doubt, true faith in you. Make me a channel of your peace. Yes, dear sisters and brothers, the entire world is crying for peace, joy, justice, and compassion. Where there is despair in life, let me bring hope. Where there is darkness, only light. And where there is sadness, ever joy. Make me a channel of your peace. True, my dear friends, the peoples and the nations are thirsting for promoting human fraternity and harmonious existence. I may never seek so much to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love with all my soul. Oh Master, grant me this grace. No doubt, the cultures are craving for building bridges of friendship with a culture of dialogue and conversation. It is in pardoning that we are pardoned. It is in giving to all people that we receive, and in dying that we are born to eternal life. Make me a channel of your peace. Indeed, each one of us wants the violence to be rejected and the human person celebrated. Dear friends, 8 centuries back, there was a dialogical encounter between Saint and the Sultan, Saint Francis of Assisi and the Sultan in Egypt, for ending up the culture of war. This peace-building effort was undertaken by both the Sultan of Al-Malik Al-Kamil and Saint Francis of Assisi in Egypt way back in 1219. This dialogical sharing brought about an effective moratorium to the bloodshed created by the warmongers, serving only their own arrogance in the name of religion. On February 4th, 2019, a historical dialogical document was signed by Pope Francis and the Grand Imam Sheikh Ahmad El Taib of Al-Azhar in Abu Dhabi. In its message, the entire human family is reminded to remain rooted in the value of peace, to defend the values of mutual understanding, human fraternity, and harmonious coexistence, to re-establish wisdom, justice, and love. Last year, the Pontifical Council for Interreligious Dialogue has profusely greeted the entire Muslim sisters and brothers across the globe for the peaceful and fruitful celebration of the fasting month of Ramadan that ends with Eid al-Fitr. The month of Ramadan, with its dedication to fasting, prayer, and almsgiving, is also a month for strengthening the spiritual bonds we share with others. The message was entitled Christians and Muslims Promoting Universal Fraternity, is signed by the Pontifical Commission for Interreligious Dialogue Secretary Bishop Miguel Angel. Building bridges for common good. Why does the spirit of Ramadan insist on the triple values of fasting, prayer, and almsgiving? Through fasting, we are supposed to grow in the fine art of self-discipline and self-critique for freeing us from the avaricious culture of consumerism. The result is the resilient righteousness. Next, the spirit of prayer. This leads us to a new spirit. This spirit is expecting us to transcend our narrow domestic walls and reach out to the new heavens of inclusiveness. The outcome is compassionate justice. Next, through almsgiving, each one is bound to empower the marginalized people with a due share from the gifts of the entire cosmos, with a deep sense of radical relationality and radical egalitarianism. The fruit is unconditional solidarity. When we own up the entire humanity and the entire universe, we could happily walk with all our sisters and brothers joyfully with a spirit of accompaniment. This radical relationality leads us to celebrate life as co-creators with the divine, co-born with the womb of Mother Nature, and co-workers with all other human persons. The humans become the human family irrespective of our creed, code, cult, color, and caste. This is how we could tear down walls raised out of fear and ignorance. This is how we could seek together to build bonds of union, promoting common good for all people across the globe. This is how we could cultivate a new way of life in our political, civil, and religious institutions, where violence is to be rejected, and the human person is respected and celebrated. This is how we could heal the wounded God, battered humans, and abused nature. Respect for freedom in the celebration of diversity. Only a culture of breathing in and breathing out peace could we bring in the mythos of reconciliation, ethos of dialogue, and the logos of harmony. To sustain these supreme values, we need to cultivate the confidence, courage, and compassion. With this sense of confidence, courage, and compassion, each one has the duty. We need to cultivate the culture of respecting the diversity and celebrating the differences. This will lead us towards promoting the right to life of every person, physical integrity, fundamental rights, freedom of conscience, and freedom of thought, and freedom of religion. This freedom has to be celebrated exuberantly, both in the private realm and the public space. The meeting point of the expressions of such genuine freedom is the common good. What is common good? It is to achieve the welfare of all through the freedom of the marginalized people. New heavens and new earth. Swords and sickles can never be our solutions for our conflicts. Bombs and rifles cannot be the answers for our misunderstandings. Warplanes and submarines can never become our responses for encountering the culture of bloodshed. Only our resilient commitment to Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, truth, goodness, and beauty, could redeem us from the valley of tears created by the culture of death. It is in this context that the values of the holy season of Ramadan are to be incorporated in each one of us. Fasting enables us to discern the truth from the divine perspective. Prayer would help us to identify the good in every situation, and almsgiving will empower us to reconstruct our relationship with one another in perfect unison with the entire cosmos. Such an experience of divine aesthetics is well expressed through the following inspiring lines of our Nobel laureate, Rabindranath Tagore. Where the mind is without fear and the head is held high, where knowledge is free, where the world has not been broken up into fragments by narrow domestic walls. It is here we need to be hungry for fasting, where words come out from the depths of truth, where tireless striving stretches its arms towards perfection, where the clear stream of reason has not lost its way into the dreary desert sand of dead habit. It is here we require to be thirsty for prayer, where the mind is led forward by Thee into ever widening thought and action, into that haven of freedom. My Father, Mother God, let my country awake. It is here we are acutely in need of practicing almsgiving. Assalamu alaikum, Shanti, Shalom, ஆனந்தமும் அமைதியும் உங்களோடு இருப்பதாக.